I'm delighted he did win. I thought he was a breath of fresh air. Just the way he plays the game, the manner and the way he plays. His touch, his style, his long pot and his scoring, his calmness. Even under adverse pressure, it was just everything was brilliant. And it was a pleasure to commentate on, to analyse on, to watch and enjoy as well. I thought it was a great World Championship. I think he's the real deal. He is. I think he could do anything he wants. As Stephen Hendry said, he can dominate the game. I think when he learns a little bit more sort of ring craft, the way Judd Trump has changed his game a little bit, but still sort of kept the most important thing was his long potting and his scoring power. But sort of added little new dimensions to his game, new facets. I think if he does that and just polishes up a little bit of sort of, he was a little bit naive at times. He's sort of pushing about. I played a lot of strange shots. But other than that, I think he was sort of desperate to get over the line. He wanted to keep to his own philosophy of keep trying to go for the pots, no matter how difficult they were. And I think, it worked well for him. But in the best of sevens or, best of 9, the shorter matches, you might struggle to find consistency. But once I think he adds those facets to his game, I think he will win a lot of tournaments, and could possibly win another couple of world titles as well. Yeah, it was. They reckoned it was 200 or 300 million watching it in China alone. Quite incredible. I think, when Ding came on the scene, the snooker exploded in China. There's 300,000 clubs in China alone. It's quite incredible, and so I think there's going to be a greater interest. I think he's going to become a very young, very rich young man. And good luck to him. He deserves all the plaudits that go with it, and all the promotions and all the positives that goes with winning the World Championships, and all the trappings. And I think he'll be a good ambassador in the end, because in a way it's a good story about him coming back from his ban and rising to the top and spending a 2-year hiatus away from the game, not for match fixing, but just for maybe naivety. And he held his hands up, letting some of the other guys use his account to bet on and stuff like that. But he was clean and he served his time. He came back, and it's sort of a little bit of a story of a prodigal son. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. It will. It's always difficult. I thought it was. It depends on the season. It depends on how he goes through the season, what he does, what sort of confidence he's got coming into the tournament. And but look, I think, as I said, he could win a few World Championships. There's no doubt about it, because he's got his age on his side. He's only 28. When you compare him with some of the other guys, that like sort of Judd Trump is like 38. Selby is 40 now. Williams is 50. Sullivan will be 50. Higgins will be 50. So when you compare him with those guys, he's got so many more years under his belt. And Wilson, the likes of Wilson, Allen, Luca, all those guys, and some of the other young guys, the Chinese guys that are coming with him, they'll be his threat, over the next few years. He might be a little bit, I don't think jealous, I think he might be envious slightly, because I always say Ding was sort of the godfather of Chinese snooker, for what he did. He was the pioneer, he showed the way for a lot of young guys, including Xintong, and he would have helped them. He wouldn't say, oh, well, listen, I'm doing it my way, I'm not going to, but like he set up an academy here in Sheffield, 18 snooker tables. There's like 5 or 6 of the lads who had qualified for the World Championship play in his club. So he sort of opened his arms, and then there's another academy where Xintong plays and Zhao. I think in a way, yeah, he might be a little bit envious. That's understandable. But I think he started the whole revolution of Chinese snooker, and I think he'll be, in a way, somewhat satisfied that eventually they have a world champion now. I think his start was like he was chasing all the time from a really poor start. I think I think he ran out of steam. He had a really tough first round match against Wu Yiza 10-8. He had a 13-10 against Fafai. He had a 13-12 against Higgins. And the Trump match, 17-15. I mean, that was 17-14, 17-15. That was really, I think that's what really took it out. And the first session, he was looked very tired, a bit drained, and yeah, it does. That's why we say it's a marathon of the mind as well as the body, because 17 days, it really is tiresome. It's gruesome. It's like, really hard going at times, and you got to have it. And the older you are, of course, the more of an effect it can have on you. So it definitely had an effect on him. But he came back really strongly in the end, but it was just sort of a bridge too far. I think Ronnie is a lot more to give in the game. There's no doubt about that. He's an amazing, talented player who's been dominant for 30 years, basically at the top of the game. He's won everything that's ever needed to win. He's created and broken, made his own records. But I think he has a new start to deal with now. There's no doubt about that. And just the way he plays. Xintong, he's been heavily influenced by Ronnie. He's been mentored by him, and I think he can carry the baton very, very well. But I think the likes of O'Sullivan and Higgins and Williams, they'll still have something to say over the next, I give them 2 to 3 years maybe. It's a huge factor. When you come to the World Championship, you have to be prepared. You have to be happy, with your cue. Obviously, he's suffering a lot, Ronnie O'Sullivan, away from the game, which is well documented, which he spoke about. And I don't think I know he had a year out of the game, but he would have had one cue that he would have been happy with when he came to the World Championship with a few different cues, different ferals, tips. Very hard to play under those circumstances, because it's not the tip itself, it's just what's in your mind about the tip or about the ferrule. And if you're not feeling 100% confident with it, then you're going to miss shots, because you'd be down on the shot and you're not expecting what way it's going to react with soil, or you don't know, and all those things sort of cloud your mind, cloud your judgment, and make you sort of very uneasy, very nervous. And I think that's exactly what happened. You just can't do it. He's won the World Championship. He got £500,000, which equates to 500,000 points. He will be seeded number 2 for all the tournaments next year. That's just the holder of a tournament is seeded number 1. The World Champion seeded number 2, and then it goes world number 1 on rankings, for the next seeds. And so basically, he's number 2 in the world, even though he's 11 in the rankings because of his points. But he'd be seeded number 2 for every event. Which, unfortunately, for certain players like Ali Carter, who was number 16, he's knocked out at 16 now. So he will miss out on the Shanghai Masters. But the ranking list is so fluid that after each tournament, it's sort of updated. It's not like, he will be seeded 2 no matter what happens with his own. But his ranking will go up and down, just like Ali Carter's and just like the rest of the top 16. It's a fluid sort of ranking system that if you have a good tournament, you can jump up places. So Ali Carter will miss out on the Shanghai Masters, but he'll have the opportunities to jump back into that 16, depending on his results. I can understand where the World Snooker are coming from with the points and the prize money and everything, and it can be tough, But I remember when Murphy, when he came through as a qualifier, he knocked out Ian McCulloch out at 16 as well. So McCulloch couldn't play in the Masters and such. But in those days, your ranking was held for the whole year, whereas it's up and down throughout the year for every tournament. Yeah, I suppose he has to ask the question, because it was in the rules and they sort of changed it. But yeah, I mean, I probably feel aggrieved myself. I was number 17, but as I said, I sort of think to myself, well, let's get on with the next tournament. Let's get myself back into the top 16 and look at it from that perspective and as a positive more than a negative, That's a very good question. Well, if we're going to have a new winner, I would say someone like Wu Yuze. I mean, I think Junhui, maybe I would like to see him win it. I think he deserves to win it. You know, I think, and he might get inspiration from Xintong that, you know, if he can win it, then why can't Ding win it? You know, it's only sort of, there's nothing stopping him. You know, he's certainly good enough. But of the new crop, I think that I like that Wu Yuze and Zhao Wei. I think if they develop their game, I think they can be really contenders, surprise contenders, and maybe, you know, tournament winners during the season as well on the way to the World Championship.